don't forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby Maine. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Child killer and barbarian. Those are the words police used to describe a man arraigned today in Warren.
Trick heard about the murder of that child and posted this on social media.
I got 6,000 to whoever the give me the information leading to the arrest and conviction of the that killed that baby.
Farmer says she's grateful for
I just felt like they took it. They took what they wanted.
Katrina Evans, the mother of Takoya Moore, is suing the city of Warren, saying police officers unlawfully seized close to $200,000 from her son's home after he was murdered
Detroit
last
police
year.
responded to a car on fire on Hyde Park in Detroit early Thursday morning. They found Takoya Moore dead inside. When they went to his home on Otis Street in Warren to make notification, they found his fiancée Isis and his 6-year-old son murdered, execution style in the basement.
Child killer and barbarian. Those are the words police used to describe a man arraigned today in Warren.
It was back on October 1st. A dad was found dead in a burning car in Detroit. When police went to make notification, they found his 6-year-old son and his girlfriend murdered in his basement.
7 Action News reporter Kim Russell is live in Warren, where the alleged killer faced a judge today. And Kim, who would shoot and kill a 6-year-old execution style?
That is what loved ones wanted to see firsthand when they showed up at Warren District Court today to see the arraignment, but they were told that due to COVID-19 capacity rules, they would not be allowed in. So I lent them my computer so that they could watch the arraignment virtually and see this man learn the charges he is facing.
Your name, please.
Nicholas Bahri.
37-year-old Nicholas Bahri, a man from West Bloomfield with a long criminal history, including drug crimes and B&Es, learned in court today he is facing 15 charges, including 3 counts of homicide first degree, firearms charges, and mutilation of a dead body. Police say he is responsible for murdering 31-year-old Takoya Moore, whose body was found in a burning car in Detroit, as well as Moore's girlfriend, 28-year-old Isis Rimson, and Moore's son, 6-year-old tai'raz Moore, who were found shot multiple times in the basement of a home on Otis Street in Warren.
A monster. He's a monster. He's a monster. He ain't showing no remorse.
Dorlanda Farmer, Isis Rimson's mom, and Deborah Jones, Takoya Moore's aunt, watched the arraignment together. They say learning who is charged brings more questions. They don't know Nicholas Bahri. Warren Police Commissioner Bill Dwyer described him this way.
Barbarian, child killer, and he will serve his time.
Detectives say after committing the murders, Bahri used his phone to search for expensive watches. They believe that tells the story of motive.
It was all about drugs and money.
And I don't wish this on anyone. Our pain and grief. And we just want to thank you all.
People who loved the 6-year-old killed say they want people to remember him.
He was just a jolly, smart kid.
Very much.
And I just don't understand, how can you kill a 6-year-old?
Bahri told the judge that he will need a court-appointed lawyer. He was denied bail, so for now, he remains in jail. Reporting live in Warren, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Unbelievable, really, Kim. All right, thank you for the update.
Fireworks
there.
in Warren during the scheduled sentencing for the man convicted of murdering a 6-year-old and 2 adults.
Nicholas Bahri was found guilty of 15 charges in the triple murder case that dates back to 2020. Today's hearing was adjourned due to Bahri having COVID and wanting to be in the courtroom in person. Well, that didn't stop him from going on an outburst. Victor Williams joins us live with more from a bizarre day in court, to say the least. Victor.
Yes, bizarre indeed, Karen. We know that Nicholas Bahri was supposed to be sentenced today, but just like you explained, that did not happen because he wanted to actually be there in the courtroom. Regardless, things still happened that are standing out.
Justice, I have real footage that's not doctored, that's not slowed down and stopped to the point where this.
After being found guilty on all 15 charges, an unexpected outburst from Nicholas Bahri at his sentencing leads to family members of the victims walking out of the courtroom.
I can't understand you. He did not get killed in my driveway. So that doesn't happen. What happened?
He didn't kill Mr. Moore's driver.
For the loved ones of Tukoyo Moore, his fiancée Iris Remsen, and 6-year-old son tai'raz Moore, it's like the wounds were reopened as Bahri insisted he had nothing to do with the triple homicide.
This is fact. He did not get killed in my driveway, period. It's in my trial. I have footage.
The judge, however, had enough.
Mute the jail. Mr. Bahri, stop talking.
Bahri's attorney himself tried everything to get out of the situation, claiming the 39-year-old was filing a motion for a whole new trial without him.
I'm asking to withdraw. I think he fired me too.
You're going to be here for sentencing.
But after it was said a public defender would now be brought in to represent Bahri, he was back at it again.
I have footage that I am not shooting in my driveway.
I don't want to hear about I don't want to hear about it. You let your attorney in. You can argue your motion when I hear your motion.
And Bahri is due back in court on June 29th. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Oh, so hard for that family to hear that. Victor, thank you very much.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb. We headed to Michigan with it. The city of Warren. But this shit got ties to the east side of Detroit, so I'm going to need the whole city in the comment box for this one. It's going to get sinister. Now, the character I'm covering today is going to be a guy by the name of Nicholas Bahri. And when I'm done telling this story, everybody is going to pray and they're going to look very close at their friends and associates. Now, the story really begins to unfold on October 1st, 2020, when Detroit police will find the body of Tukoyo Moore in the backseat of a rental car that had been set on fire and burnt out on Detroit's east side. Now, after gathering the information and IDing the victim, it would be hours later before detectives would head to Tukoyo Moore's residence in Warren, where they would uncover a horrific scene. Now, the house had supposedly been ransacked, and when police would enter the basement of the house, they would find 28-year-old Iris Remsen, who was the fiancée of Tukoyo Moore, and they would also find his 6-year-old son tai'raz. Now, both him and Iris Remsen were shot in the head with shotguns and executed. Now, not sure if it was right then when authorities would begin to connect the two crimes, but this was definitely a high priority case because it led people like Trick to say that he was going to put up $6,000 to find the killer. I seen where a pastor in the area also put up the same amount. And anytime a kid is killed in almost drug violence, gang violence, gun violence, and definitely executed, it's going to make it a case that is placed on a national scale. And it wouldn't be long before authorities would have a person of interest, and that would be on October the 9th. So about 10 days after the killing. And during the course of the murder investigation, it led them to a house in West Bloomfield, where detectives would spend a majority of the day on the 9th combing the house. During the course of the investigation, authorities would also tow away 2 vehicles, a white Ford Fusion and a blue Subaru. Now, at the time, they didn't release the name of the person of interest, but they did say that he was being questioned for possible involvement in that highly publicized and brutal drug-related triple murder. Now, early on, we really didn't know what caused them to think that this murder was drug-related besides the circumstances of 2 people being executed in the basement. But later on in the investigation, it would come to be found that authorities would have seized $200,000 from the house of Tukoyo Moore where his fiance and son was found murdered. Now, the picture will begin to get more clearer just a few days later on October 13th, 2020, when authorities would arraign Nicholas Bahri and they would charge him with 3 counts of homicide, 3 charges of committing a felony while possessing a gun, 3 charges involving a felon carrying a gun, and a charge of mutilating a dead body. Now, authorities will go on to paint Takayo Moore as a drug trafficker that had did business with Nicholas Bahri. And at his arraignment, they're going to say that Takayo Moore was last seen in the driveway of Bahri's home in Bloomfield Hills, and that determination was based on cell phone records as well as security camera footage from Bahri's home. Now, using GPS data from the rental car, authorities going to say that it drove around Oakland County before eventually arriving at the home on Otis and Warren, and it left 12 minutes later. Now, 5 minutes after leaving the home on Otis, police going to say Nicholas Bahri was seen pulling into a gas station on 8 Mile and Woodard in Detroit and buying a gas can as well as gasoline. Now, if you're nervous or think that someone else's Ring camera could convict you of a crime, I'm going to show you how your own camera could convict you. Now, according to police, they're going to say that Bahri's security home camera showed him being dropped off by a taxi in the early morning hours after the murder. Now, they also going to say at just before 4 a.m., a little bit before cops would discover the dead bodies in that basement, that Bahri's internet history showed that he was searching for expensive watches, and he Googled news reports about burning vehicles in Detroit. So this is really just a case of technology leading police to the offender. They said it was good old-fashioned police work, but in these days, good old-fashioned police work is just checking the criminal's phone, checking their computer, checking surveillance cameras, and that lead them to everything. Now, this was a real tragic set of events, so we really can't feel too bad about Nicholas Bahri. But if you involved in the streets in any kind of way, this should let you know not only watch what you do with today's technology, watch who you associate with, because it sounds like Nicholas Bahri was a customer to Takayo Moore. And that goes back to the old slogan, all money ain't good money. But y'all know what it is with me. Y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. We going to be back with some more real trill spill shit. Y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe right under this video so y'all know when it's dropping. And y'all know what it is. It's your boy Pop. Mobb.